Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Debbie and Pippa and Debbie chat, whichever way we're going to word it.
Yes.
And we're just going to be having loose conversations about whatever comes up. And I'm based in New Zealand, and Pippa.
I am in Western Australia, in Perth.
So we're close cousins in one way or another. Even though
Yes.
I'm originally from England, I'll still accept that. I'm a Kiwi now.
Yes. Well, I'm originally from New Zealand, so I'm okay.
There we go.
Well, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. So we're just going to be chatting about whatever spiritual topics come up. Maybe some personal things in our life, but might not. It might be words of wisdom. It certainly might not.
That's just, yeah, go with the flow, isn't it? What comes in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were just speaking offline before we started this recording about feedback about what we do. You've been doing readings recently, Pippa.
Yes, I had a market yesterday. Amazing, beautiful souls, and did a couple of readings there. So it was quite good to get into their energy, and help them with some blockages with their emotions and where they're hiding, where they can just speak their truth and start to remember who they are. I think we forget who we are sometimes in this society because we just follow, and make everyone else comfortable, yet a lot of people are not making themselves comfortable. So, how do you say it? So, a lot of people live to make sure everyone else is comfortable, even when we're not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. It's just being our true, authentic selves.
That's right.
And it's difficult sometimes to connect with who our true, authentic self is. Sometimes, thinking that other people might not like who we really are.
That's right. And we have to, embrace who we are, flaws and all. We've all got them. I know all my flaws. I embrace them, because it's part of who I am. And we can't change that to fit everybody else, because then we're living this journey making everyone else comfortable when inside we're screaming, because we're not. We're trying to be this perception of what society thinks we should be. But
Yeah, that's right. We've come here to work on the soul level, our soul challenges, if you will. My saying, as we've spoken in other conversations, is the soul has the experience and the ego has the lesson. So the soul is working through its own experiences, and in order for the ego to have the lesson, it must experience all these difficult things as well as all the positive things, because
yeah,
we then take back, oh, I had an experience of abandonment or I had an experience of love, and know what that sensation is in the body. And then the ego will say, well, that abandonment, that was really horrible. My ego says people didn't love me or whatever it was.
yes. And that's it. We live in the world where feel we need to be loved and validated from everyone else. Um, and we look outside for it, don't we? We look all around when we need to be going inwards and loving ourselves first and foremost.
That's the
Because
biggest one.
yeah, when you do that, you're whole. You can feel whole and still be broken, but it's really learning to love who you are, the flaws and
Mhm.
all. Because if we don't, and we spend our lives focusing on the outside, then, as you know, it, it will always come out in the end. It can 10, 20, 30 years, it will always come out. This negativity that you're holding, or the scream, I always, when I get like that, I visualize someone on the inside just screaming, just trying to get out, just to accept who that they are and feel accepted, but you have to accept yourself first. And
That
that's
that's
the
a
ripple.
biggie. That is a huge biggie. So before we get any deeper, people don't know who we are. If people are looking at this saying, who are these girls just having a yank, you know? So just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Um, well, I'm Pippa. I as a as a label, I was going to say I'm just Pippa, but as a label, I'm a scribe. So I bring energy to form and words, symbols, drawings. Not the best drawer, but that's how it comes through for me. Um, I'm on a path of going back to the real, the raw, the truth. Um, because it's the light and dark. It's embracing your shadows. It's embracing that as a part of who you are, um, and learning to love yourself and changing that mindset of, this happened to me in life, and I can't do this and I can't do that. We can, we just have to believe in who we are and who you are yourself. Embracing your flaws. We're not here to be like the next person. If we were all like that, would be living the Truman Show. So we all have our own uniqueness, and it's about embracing that. That's what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And a little bit about your journey.
my journey, yes. As you know, I am a mother walking a path of grief, losing my son 2 years ago in a a car accident, where three of them passed away. And that just awoken me even more. I do talk about it because I am trying to get grief out there, which is the real raw truth of grief also. I've not long published a book about grief, and I've just actually uploaded it to a network, to be able to go into bookstores. So I'm like, yeah, it's not about validation. It's not about ego or getting my name out there. It's just to help other parents on the same journey, anyone on the journey of grief. It's not about tools to help someone through it. It's not about how to fix grief, how to get through grief. It's just something you can read so you know that you can grieve in your own way, how you want to grieve. So
That's
yeah.
wonderful. Where have
Mm.
you published it, Pippa?
It's on Amazon at the moment, in the paperback. Um, Yeah, so it was on Kindle, but I've taken it off to be able to, for other bookstores and libraries and stuff in Australia and New Zealand, to be able to buy it and put it in their shops if they want to. I've done that mainly because I've had a lot of feedback from a lot of other mothers walking this journey.
What's it called?
Um, it's called, sorry, it's called Alchemizing Grief. Alchemizing Grief.
Yeah, we'll put a link to it when we put this video up.
Yeah, it's all about releasing, it's just releasing in your ways, screaming, crying, swearing. If that's what you need to do to release it, that's fine. It's okay. You know, it's
Mm.
not about making everyone else comfortable for your grief, because we do get affected like that. I felt that a lot. I stopped going to the shops because I didn't want to be that mother, I just wanted to be me. And I know there's just so many others out there that you end up losing people around you. Um, not because you're doing it, it's because you're in this grief mindset, and you're very vulnerable as well. Like every single person is walking this grief path, um, or we will at one point in our life, and it's about being able to say, yeah, I'm grieving. I'm allowed to grieve this way. There's not a set way or set steps to do it. And, the 5 steps of grief, it's just, I just hate hearing that word. Well, I don't. I just dislike hearing it because that was brought out to help people like in palliative care and people, families to sort of get used to it. But when you look at it, even people in palliative care, they are they have to grieve twice because they're grieving knowing that someone's about to pass away. And then once they do, they grieve again. So it's two different griefs, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Unfortunately, I'm all too familiar with that area of life, unfortunately. So for myself, I've been in the healing world pretty much all my life, just for people that are listening to this, and started reading the 52 card deck, playing cards when I was about 12 years old or so with a friend of mine, gone through numerous decks of cards. This is now what I use. I'm a sound healer using tuning forks for pretty much everything, past life, ancestral, you name it, emotions, whatever there is to work on. So that has been my lifelong journey, as well as also coming from a place of being a data and a business analyst in government IT, which they couldn't be further apart. But I managed to blend the two and walk two paths, walking a foot in each world, which is difficult at times. But I managed to blend it so that the knowledge that I have, I could use that if I knew I was going into a difficult meeting to like set the energy, for example. So I got to blend that in that corporate world. I've been out of the corporate world for a long time now, and this is my full-time world. And yeah, just going back to what you said about the palliative care, there was 2019 was a phenomenal year for us. Myself and my husband, we lost 5 people to that big C word,
Yeah,
cancer. Within those 12 months, it started in January, 3 months later, someone else. And 10 weeks, the last 10 weeks of the year, I lost 2 sisters, 10 weeks apart. And that was a big year. It was
yeah.
just before COVID hit, I that.
It was a
And
reset, though. Do you feel it was a reset?
we are going through some sort of reset, should we say? That's what I feel, in
Mm,
that we are going back to our heart space and coming out of our head, because
yeah,
everything has been so headspace. I mean, like myself, I was in that data business analyst heady space, but I
yeah,
was also in the spiritual world. And at times one would take over more than the other. But I dropped that data headspace world and am now fully immersed in the heart-based world.
yeah.
And I do believe that is the way we're going. Like you started out, we are looking inwards at ourselves. I think people are doing a lot more inquisitive self-help and self-healing, I think, than they were before.
That's right. Especially with the long periods of not being able to go out into the public and do, you know, um, the normal things through that COVID era as well. Um, People really had no choice but to go inwards and actually come together more as families. And as you were saying, with grief and losing people, you start to look, you as you know, I mean, you just can't explain it sometimes. It's like you look at the world in a completely different way. Like you can look at a whole patch of grass, but there's one blade of grass that is just a different colored green that you have never seen before. If that makes sense. It's just, you notice these little things more and they mean more.
Yeah. Um, I heard it phrased during that time that it was a sacred seclusion. And I love that term. And I used it ever since. I don't know who said it. I don't know where I got it from. But yeah, I just have been repeating that ever since. And something I noticed, I can't wear a mask. I can't. I
Yeah,
would absolutely panic having
Yeah, it's
everything
like a
covered over
foundation.
my face. So I wasn't able to wear a mask. And so we went out. This was towards the end of all when our lockdowns were a lot less, and we could go to have a stall at some of the wellness fairs. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of people wearing masks, and there's no right or wrong. There's no judgment here about anything.
No.
What I noticed was I made people made eye contact a lot better. And it was just so amazing just to actually look into people's eyes rather than trying to watch the mouth talk as a lot of people might. You had to look deep into their souls. And that
Yes.
was pretty incredible, actually. I was like, wow, I'd never realized that.
No, now going back, you're right. You're completely right because and you just knew because you're looking into someone's eyes, you could read the energy more, each other's energy more, if you know what I mean. You
Yeah.
could, and you could feel the energy more, just by looking through another person's eyes. Well, the eyes are the window to the soul. So yeah, I had never thought of it that way. Thank you. But you're right. I remember when I look at it now, it's like that's so true.
Mm.
It was just more communication through the eyes because people have stopped looking down, they're looking up, you know, and that's important. That's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was quite incredible. As the years go on, I think that'll be one of the things that I'll remember. Is
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty incredible.
It shows, you don't need words sometimes. It's just the energy and the looking, the communication through energy and eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely is. So just going back to my sisters, the
Yeah.
grieving process that we were talking about, I think I was probably numb at that time as well. And so I do a number of different modalities. Over our chats, we'll speak about some of them, maybe not.
Yeah.
And I asked my husband to use the tuning forks and guided him, to help clear my energy body from whatever I was holding. And as he was doing that throughout, him just moving the tuning fork and me guiding him and my laying on my own treatment bench, I have both of my sisters come in like pillars either side of me. I have four sisters and five brothers, but these two that have passed away, and that's where they stand now. They're my rock, just either side of me. And that was just such an amazing experience. And, did the grief disappear? It certainly lessened because I knew that they were there.
Yes.
So that was just a different way of coping with the grief, I guess, is by doing that. And yeah, I know they're just, not like the devil and the angel sort of thing, but they're
No,
two guardian
yeah,
angels. Yeah.
I feel like I see one like in gold light and the other in white. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Either side of you. Yeah, like gold on this side and white on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Forever whispering in
beautiful.
my ear.
Yeah, it is. Numb, going numb. It's when you're numb like that, it can be so hard to break that because it's so much easier to stay numb because
Mhm.
to feel that pain again it is very hard, as you know. It's when it starts to come up, you just push it back down, numb it. Our brains can be so, they're very powerful like that. So then that's how people just suppress, or they find different modalities to keep numbing it. That's where you get addictions and things like that that come into it. Um, but it always comes back, like I said before, worse later, years later, some people hold their grieving till years later, and that's okay. They can scream, and get it out if they need to, obviously in a safe environment. Um, because people do suppress it, don't they? And then later on, it comes out in other ways. If
It
we're,
certainly does.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
In New Zealand terms, we didn't have this expression in the UK. It's always just suck it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are you sucking it into? What part of your body is it going into?
Yes, that's it. Because you're carrying, any negativity and any, you know, even, childhood trauma. Childhood trauma always, people always have, think of childhood trauma as something completely terrifying, which you can obviously have that. But then childhood trauma can be the littlest thing as well. And it just builds up, builds up, builds up, and builds up until years later it explodes because it's going to come out. It needs to, you know. It affects the immune system in other ways. This is why, like with your sound healing and talking and releasing these energies starts to help a person on their journey to healing and releasing it all because
Yeah.
we need to keep the immune system. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, everything comes out in one way or another. We
Hmm.
just never associate, or most often don't associate it with that.
Yes.
And there's a great book that I often refer to, I think it's Inner Siegel's Secret, sorry, The Secret Language of the Body. I don't know if you've come across that book.
No.
And it's pretty amazing. Everyone has to use their own discernment and judgment, with whatever they're doing here, whatever we mention. It's not for us to say this is the way.
No. That's right.
And so this book has a list of complaints, conditions, if you will. It can talk about every vertebrae in the spine and what emotion or situation that would relate to if you got a bad back. And any part of your body, any emotion, whether it's eczema, whether it's knee pain, whether it's abandonment. I think they have emotions in there. And it's amazing how accurate that can be. I work with clients a lot, and very often I will get that book out if they feel stuck and just flick to that page and say, hey, here's your condition that you're talking about here. What do you think to these potential statements? And so far, all but one person has related to at least one, if not more, of those statements. And it's just been incredible. And that can open up things that you didn't even realize you were aware of.
Yeah.
So, and there's something also called Germany medicine, meta medicine, that I've had a little bit of training in, first level training in. And that tells us it turns a medical model on its head. And by that, I mean abandonment affects the kidneys, according to German medicine. And the reason I say that is because I suffered from abandonment when my dad walked out when I was 1 year old.
Mhm.
Obviously, don't remember him, but my subconscious mind remembers that abandonment of him no longer being there. And although we think we don't consciously remember, our subconscious has a deep recorded memory of past lives, ancestral. That's where everything is locked in that subconscious mind. I always refer to it back here.
Yes.
And when I learned how meta medicine looked at abandonment from, or Germany medicine, as a problem with kidneys, shortly after my dad left, so I was told, I had kidney problems. And when I heard that, I was, aha, one of those moments. And then it talked about other aspects of health that I know my mother went through, and that related exactly with the German new medicine. And it's not a diagnostic tool, I wouldn't go that far, but it gives indications as to which emotions may be trapped in the body somewhere, or which events may be trapped in the body somewhere, that you can then deal with them and get them out.
Yes.
And that's how I see it. It's not a case of going to your GP or whatever. If you want to, you can, of course.
Yes.
But from my point of view, the way that I work, it's, well, you've been abandoned. Did you have kidney issues or other issues with your kidney, for example? And let's look at that. I just use it as another avenue to walk down, to help the clients better. But yeah, they're both really interesting just to get a different point of view. And I'm all up for different points of view.
Yes, so am I, yeah, because I mean, we all learn from each other's experiences, don't we? And information that we learn. And, it's very, very true. We don't realize it. I think when I started going through my journey after we lost our son, um, I basically went inwards for 22 months. 22 months because I just didn't want to face the world. I was numb, vulnerable, you name it, angry at the world. I was getting headaches. Um, I didn't want to eat. And yeah, I learnt so much about myself and I started healing parts of myself and bringing a lot out. There's so many different ways to release in a healthy way, isn't there?
Mm,
Um, I had a lot of Reiki done, distant Reiki, through my mentor. Um, I also did do the roadside trauma counselling, which I am still doing because it's nice to just, you know, some things are too heavy for others to hear. And we have other trained people, like even people like us, um, just to help, to release that. Um, Sometimes, a lot of people do say, don't isolate yourself. It's not very, it's not healthy and all of that. There are times that isolation is healthy because it's always for a reason. Everything is for a reason. So now that I'm slowly getting out and about, um, I understand the reason why I needed to isolate, and that was to learn to love myself from the inside out, not from the outside in, and discover who and remember who I am, accepting myself, flaws and all. I lost my speech, my memory, my whole cognitive went out the door because this is grief, and grief affects every single person differently. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's your way. And now I understand it all, like myself, and this is who I am. And the ones that love you and support you will understand you and never judge you.
mm,
So
mm. That's
that's
great.
one thing. But sorry, I'll get back to the point. I have noticed every time I worked through an issue of years, or no matter what it was, primary school, high school, everything, each sort of, if you call them issues or whatever I was holding on to, each one I worked through, I got lighter and lighter and lighter. And then just one day it's like you wake up and everything sees different, looks different. Even looking at myself in the mirror, I looked different. But it was almost like, I don't know, I had the light again, like shining. Um, it's hard to explain that unless you can explain that. As you shift and you level up and everything, you start to see a change in yourself, or whether it's us looking through our soul and seeing a change in our soul. I think the last session I had was with you, and that was distant. And I sort of went back to sleep because it was early here, and I literally, as I said to you, I was being held. Like I was being held, and I could feel the energy, and it makes me not cry in a sad way. It was just so beautiful. That is the emotion I was getting. Like I have just felt so safe. I felt like I was floating and being cuddled, and I just felt like I was angels around me. And then took me a bit to come back. So I was like, wow, I feel so different today. It was just like you activated something in me. And yeah, I'm so grateful for that. And that's why I had to take a minute to write to you because I was trying to get the words, and So I emailed you and you'd email me at the same time with the pictures of what I was feeling. And I was just blown away. So thank you. It
Mm.
was another releasing and I don't know, you know, I'm feeling like my soul is back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, Pippa. Yeah, I don't remember many sessions when I do them distantly, but I do remember the images only because I felt compelled to go and create them through AI, through Canva,
Yeah.
and send them to you because it felt so important. And what I remember was that you were sitting on an angel's lap, and the angel had its wings just wrapped around you, completely secure. I've got you,
Yeah.
sort of way. And it was just such a beautiful image. I had to create that and send that to you. I couldn't get it exactly as I saw it. I don't remember exactly what it was now, but it came close enough.
Yeah. It was, yeah, very, very, very close. And that's what I
Mm.
felt like. I actually felt like I was levitating because I was in the between sleep and then relaxing. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, you just, I actually, yeah, I can't explain it. I just felt like I was floating off my bed.
Right.
But it was amazing. Yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know what happens to people on the other end. I only know what happens my side.
Yes, so there you go.
But as long as it was a benefit to you, that's what really matters.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it goes to show that, that distance does work. Like, energy
Yeah.
is powerful.
There
Energy.
is no distance at all.
No,
Yeah.
that's right, actually, yes. But, in the label time,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it is, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I mean, as they say, time is linear. Time is made up. It's
Yeah.
man-made also,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. There's a saying, we're all connected. And we hear that frequently. And it's like, oh, this corny statement, we're all connected. And I'm not a fan of corny statements. But something that came through me, I don't know when it happened or what prompted it. I think somebody was talking about the Big Bang and how our Earth allegedly was made or not. I don't know.
Yeah,
And what I saw was this image of like the most beautiful, sparkly light inside a diamond, should we say.
yes,
That was just an image I saw. I was just going about my day. I wasn't in meditation or doing anything. And that just came to me as this image as I was hearing this conversation going on. And then I saw the image of this beautiful, it was like a white golden light. It's difficult to explain the light. It just shattered. But each fragment of that diamond held the same light, that same gold, silvery light. And to me, I'm getting all goosey telling you this now. To me, that's the Big Bang because we are the one light, and that light shattered. And so we are each a little fragment of that same light source. And so when the light shines bright in one fragment, it automatically affects the others. And that's what I considered as like the spiritual Big Bang, if you will. And I think I wrote a post or something about it as I do. But that just came through me and I'm like, oh
and
man, that's an amazing
really,
idea.
as you say that, it's like I've actually written that similar sort of thing down somewhere. So I've had the same sort of vision.
Wow.
Yeah, it could be in one of my other journals. Um, yeah, it was like, I don't know if it was a diamond, I can't remember the exact shape, but it was like a sphere type, and it was changing, it was like a gold as well. And it just, yeah, it was almost like it was about to burst, if that makes it. It's like back to the beginning.
Mm.
And yeah, I'll have to find it in my notes and send it to you.
Yeah, like the seed of life.
Yes, yeah.
How it divides, and then boom,
Yeah,
we are each a seed of
that's right.
that whole.
And you just made that sense because obviously I'm still, learning. I mean, we're always learning, aren't we? And mine was, I wasn't sure if it was going back to, was that me being taken back through my vision? But you've just sort of explained it, so you've helped me solve another piece,
There we go.
piece of the puzzle they keep giving you. You get these pieces of the puzzles that you sometimes it can take a months or a year, and then you get the other piece.
If you're lucky, a month or a year. Sometimes it's lifetimes.
I know, well, that's right.
When
That's
lifetimes
good.
later. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll leave this chat here for today and
Yes, that
just
was
stop the
great.
recording. So whoever's listening, our first chat, comment, whatever you think.
Yeah.
This is raw. I'm in my messy office. You can see my computer and part of my rower behind me,
And
and a
I've just
poem I
woken
wrote,
up.
which I'll read to you at some point. And yeah, that's just where we are. It's going to be real and raw whenever it takes us, and just chatting about whatever
That's
comes
right.
up.
So,
Okay, thank you all for listening. Bye for now.
bye.